I was a kid, I watched a show called Vishnu Puran, which we were tripping out over in the other room. There was a beautiful show by B.R. Chopra, B.R. Chopra's Mahabharat.
Right.
And after that B.R. Chopra's Mahabharat show got done, they had reruns of it until about 1998 maybe, where they started airing Vishnu Puran.
Right.
And I remember the whole country got very gripped to Vishnu Puran. I remember being gripped to it as a kid.
Right.
And then I rewatched, I think, the first 2 episodes later on in life. When I rewatched them as an adult, I realized, whoa, this show is extremely deep.
Yes.
And I figured that there's no way that writers could have sat and had had penned down these dialogues.
Completely.
They had to have taken them from somewhere because the dialogues were too heavy.
Right.
That's also why the show may not have caught on as much as Mahabharata or Ramayana, which are very simple stories.
Yes.
I won't say simple stories, but they're linear stories.
Yeah, linear stories.
They're not philosophical like this.
Yes.
So Vishnu Puran talks about the birth of the universe,
Right.
the birth of Parabrahm, which is God in general.
Yes.
But from there, I'd love for you to explain it in brief. Where does Vishnu, Brahm, Shiva fall into this birth of the universe theory?
Right.
And also, why is there a hierarchy in terms of gods? Like, why is it, okay, God, then Vishnu, Brahma, Mahesh,
Right.
then the Devis, then all the other gods, then
Yes.
Indra, etc., etc. What is this logic?
Right. I think that's a very good question. And a lot of people have these questions. I had these questions, when I started researching. And the confounding factor here is that different Purans call different gods as supreme. So in the Shiv Puran, you would find Shiva as the most supreme god. And whereas in the Vaishnavite Purans, you would find Vishnu as the supreme god. So in terms of Bhagavatam, Krishna is the supreme god, right? So I think there's some confusion there that happens in the mind of people. But if you want to understand the broad hierarchy, so it comes again, none of the Purans or any later scriptures have anything to say which is different from the Vedas. So in the Rig Veda, there's this Purush Sukta. And this Purush Sukta talks about the Adi Purush, who's the first person. Purush, of course, it's a masculine term, but it basically implies that this is the first person in the universe. And it is from him that the entire creation comes. The Purush Sukta talks about another being emerging from the Purush who starts the creation, which is Viraj. So there you have the beginnings of the story of Lord Vishnu being presented as the Adi Purush, from whom emerges Brahma, who's Viraj, and from Brahma starts the rest of the creation. Now, if you go by the Shiv Puran descriptions, it's Shiva who's there in the beginning. And then he emerges as the lingam of fire. So very interestingly, a lot of people worship Shiva Lingam, but they don't know what it means, right? So the Shiva Lingam actually represents a lingam of fire. It's a pillar of fire. And this pillar of fire suddenly emerges, and there's Brahma and there's Vishnu, and they don't know where it's coming from. So both of them, they decide to explore the ends of it. So Vishnu takes the form of a Vara, and Brahma takes the form of a swan. And he flies up, and Vishnu digs deeper into the lower half of it. But none of them can find the end. So finally, they meet at the midpoint, and that's when Shiva emerges from it. That's called the Ling Udbhav Shiva. So some of the southern temples have this depiction of Shiva emerging from the lingam. So that's where Shiva tells them that I am the supreme one and I created you. So there are different versions. But again, a very beautiful point to understand is that all the Purans refer to different kalpas. So for this, I'll have to go a little bit backwards into what a kalpa is and what the timeline is, right? So this universe is just, according to our scriptures, this universe is just one of the multiple universes. So our scriptures actually talk about a multiverse. This is not the only universe in the world. Earth is not the only place that is inhabited. There's millions and millions of inhabited worlds out there. And these, so according to Srimad Bhagavad Puran, there's a spiritual universe, which is almost like a clear sky, blue sky. And on one corner of it, there's this cloudy place, which was the material universe. It's 1/4 of the entire portion.
Like a quadrant.
Like a quadrant. One quadrant is the material universe.
It's like Dragon Ball Z. Have you heard Dragon Ball Z?
Yes.
Anyway, go on.
So 3/4 is the spiritual universe, where Krishna resides, the Vishnu forms reside in the Vaikunt planet. And 1/4, one quadrant is the material universe, material creation, I would say material realm. Okay. Within this material realm, there is a form of Vishnu, which is the Karanodak Shai Vishnu. Okay. This might get a little complicated.
No, go on.
But this is the easiest way to understand. Okay, there's this Karnodakshay Vishnu who's just lying in that material realm. And every time he exhales, there's a universe that pops out of his pores. So there's millions of universes coming out of Karnodakshay Vishnu's pores. Okay. Each of this universe, again, has a form of Vishnu inside it, which is the Garbhodakshay Vishnu, from whom emerges Brahma for that universe.
Okay.
And that Brahma creates all the lokas within that universe. But imagine that this entire universe exists only for one breath of this Mahavishnu, the Karnodakshay Vishnu. So this entire process of creation by Brahma, of multiple yugas coming and going, all of this is just a single breath of Mahavishnu. That's how grand the vision is. So within this universe, when Brahma starts creating, he generally, for our universe, the story is told. We don't know how it is for the other universes, but for our universe, so Brahma has a lifespan of close to 311 trillion human years. Okay. And currently, do you know where we are right now? So this is the 51st year of Brahma.
Of our current Brahma.
No, so that's in the human years.
Okay.
That is equal to 100 Brahma years.
Okay.
So 100 Brahma years is the lifespan. Brahma lives for 100 years.
Okay. So we are at 51 out of 100.
We are at 51 right now. So it's close to 155 trillion human years. If you convert it in human years. And currently we are in the afternoon. So we are in the 7th Manvantar. So each day of Brahma within this year, 100 years of Brahma, each year has 360 days and night, and each day is called a kalpa. Okay. So in this lifespan of Brahma, each kalpa has had different entities being created. Lord Vishnu has appeared in different avatars. It's not just the 10 main avatars that we know. There are various avatars that have happened. There's different beings have come and gone, and Brahma has recreated, everything again and again and again, multiple times. He's been doing it every day. Every morning Brahma starts creating, and every night it gets dissolved. Again, every morning he starts afresh with some inputs from the previous experiences. So each Puran belongs to a different kalpa. And in each kalpa, because creation happens differently, sometimes Brahma emerges first, sometimes Vishnu emerges first, and sometimes Shiva appears first. That is why the stories are different. A lot of people don't understand this, that the Purans belong to different time periods. And in each kalpa, the creation began in a different way. So for current day of Brahma, which is the Varaha Kalpa, Vishnu Puran was narrated in this kalpa. So Vishnu Puran actually is relevant for this kalpa. A lot of other Purans are telling stories that happened in the previous kalpas or future kalpas.
Different time periods.
So that is where the stories differ. But primarily, it's Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh, who are the Holy Trinity. They are the Holy Trinity of Hinduism, the Trimurti. They are the highest level of gods.
Yeah.